All right. So you've been busy, it seems, huh? Lots of interesting stuff about Columbus this time around. Top housing market of 2024 in this economy. Color me surprised.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder what's going on there, right? Like what's the secret sauce?
Exactly. I mean, there's got to be something driving that kind of growth.
Yeah.
What did you find?
Well, one of the big things is that Columbus seems to be drawing in a lot of tech companies.
Ah, so it's like a mini Silicon Valley kind of thing.
Sort of. I mean, not on that scale, obviously, but yeah, there's definitely a growing tech scene like Root Insurance and Olive Lesses. Those are just a couple of the names that popped up. And those startups, they attract young professionals.
Right, and that brings in a demand for housing, restaurants, the whole nine yards.
Exactly. And then that feeds back into the local economy even more with new construction and all that. So it's kind of this upward spiral.
Wow, that's fascinating. So it's not just affordable housing, it's the opportunity that comes with it.
Right. And you know what else is interesting? They haven't forgotten about the rest of the city, like all this growth, and they're still investing in things like public transportation.
That's huge, especially these days.
Yeah.
Good public transit can make or break a city.
Exactly. And it seems like they're really going all in on it too, like major upgrades, new routes, the whole shebang. Plus, from what I gathered, they are really big on sustainability there.
Sustainability. Okay, like what? Give me an example.
Well, for starters, they've got those bike sharing programs you see in a lot of big cities now.
Oh, yeah, those are everywhere these days. Super convenient.
Right. And on top of that, they're really making an effort to create more green spaces and invest in renewable energy sources. So they're thinking long term.
Smart. It's not just about attracting new people, it's about making sure the people who live there are happy and taken care of. But let's be real, all work and no play makes for a pretty dull city.
Mm.
What about the fun stuff? You mentioned something about murals.
Oh, yeah. The art scene in Columbus is actually really cool. They have a ton of murals, especially in the Short North Arts District, like whole buildings covered in these incredible works of art. It's wild.
Wait, so they've got a whole district dedicated to the arts. I'm starting to think I need to visit this place.
You definitely should. And it's not just visual art either. Their music scene is off the hook.
Really? What kind of music are we talking about?
Everything, honestly. I mean, they've got the Newport Music Hall, which is iconic. I mean, Jimi Hendrix played there, for crying out loud. But also more modern artists like Taylor Swift. And then you've got your pick of smaller venues too, jazz clubs, indie rock, you name it. They even have places that do brunch with live music.
Okay, you had me at brunch. Sold. But we've got to ask, what about the downsides? Everything can't be perfect. What's the catch with Columbus?
Well, no place is perfect, right? One thing that stood out to me was the weather. Like a lot of the Midwest, Columbus gets all four seasons.
And by all four seasons, you mean?
I mean, prepare for some chilly winters. And fall can be pretty unpredictable, too. You might get some beautiful days, but you might also get some snowstorms thrown in there.
To pack a warm coat. Got it.
Exactly. But hey, you can always warm up with a hot chocolate and some live music, right?
You know what? You've convinced me. Columbus sounds like a city with a lot to offer. What's the one thing that really stuck with you after all your research?
I think for me, what makes Columbus so interesting is that it feels like it's still evolving. It's got all this energy, this potential. Like it's a city on the cusp of something really special.
I like that, city on the cusp. Well, for anyone listening who's ever been curious about Columbus, I think this deep dive has given us plenty to think about.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe it'll inspire some of our listeners to check it out for themselves.